People of the internet, Steven Crowder is declaring war on the Rogansphere because they are backing away from Trump. And today we are going to learn what's got Steven in such a tizzy over the Rogansphere. Let's go.
Bless you, Crowder.
This is a Steven Crowder. He's noticing that all the podcast bros have really had a little buyer's remorse with how closely they've tied their names and reputations to Donald Trump. And it turns out that Steven Crowder is not super able to understand why. And so maybe we can help him out here.
You mean having his numbers being like the worst ever for a president in this time frame, like him having late Bush to George W. Bush numbers,
and the economy hasn't even crashed yet.
Yeah, less than a year into his presidency. I don't know.
Well, since the election, I don't know what's going on. I'll just tell you this: I don't understand.
It's Rumble, guys. If you ever want to take a wild trip, just go navigate Rumble for a little bit. Shit is wild.
And why people don't understand, like, oh, this isn't what I voted for. What?
No.
I mean, this is exactly what I voted for.
I get it. They have no spine.
Yeah. I mean, there's a few things. We talked about it a little bit yesterday, but there's a few things where I'm like, I didn't expect it to go this way.
Yeah.
But
well, like the Epstein cover-up stuff,
or like the rounding up of grandmas.
Well,
and
they
grandpas.
like that.
I know, but we know you like that. We know you freak like that.
But
we know you like that.
I'm saying what his reservation.
You know, I think there are people out there after every election that see the person they voted for, and then over time it doesn't turn out how they thought, and they change, right? You could see that in every election. You know, and I think this election was very like hyped up. It's like it's delicate, and I can see, you know, from the side that he's not doing what we thought he was going to do. Like, some of this shit is crazy. I can see that, right? You know, and I know people that have changed their position since the election. Totally get that. The problem is when you're part of the propaganda machine for a political party, and you push those narratives, and you push solutions, and you push their agenda, and then you want to be like, whoa, don't want to be a part of the backlash. It's not going to happen. These guys can change and distance themselves, although Andrew Schultz, you know, he just flaps in the wind and goes wherever the wind blows him, you know. But for the other guys, they can change, but you're going to receive backlash, and you're going to have to go through it because you were part of their political party's propaganda machine. You push their narrative, you push their agenda, and you just got to suck it up. Us regular people, that may change our feelings. We may have a disagreement with a friend or something. We're not going to face that. But we didn't get on our megaphones and use our millions of people that watch us to push it to sway an election. I understand people can change. That's one thing on the internet. People don't allow people to change. I think so. But these guys, you've got to take the consequences of your actions at the same time. You can't get mad. You can't freak out that people are calling you out. You put yourself out there and push that agenda. I don't understand why they don't get that. I think maybe a couple do, but this is what was going to happen because things have changed drastically in America from how they were a year ago. And that happens with elections, and these feelings are going to come up. And people are really, I don't think we've seen anything quite like this in our country. And just a lot of things changing, a lot of stuff. And I think the consequences are higher, and people are going to go after the people that put them in office. That's just what's going to happen. And you it.
Minor
Right. Oh, that
reservations
guy's
are,
yeah. But it's just like, yeah, dude, you are a psychopath.
Right.
That's why you're into the brutalization of people on the street and committing genocide. You're a big fan of that. Most people aren't.
Yeah, you're a stupid pig.
But
You hate
the compromise
yourself. You
is
hate the world.
Yeah, duh. It's nostalgia
I
for
get
you.
what I want.
Yeah.
It's very efficient.
Yeah.
Some of the things aren't being done the way I would.
It's so efficient. Ask the farmers.
Oh my
Like
God.
Okay, this dumb podcaster.
Yeah.
It's very efficient.
Yeah.
Some of the things aren't being done the way I would like them to, but
But
hey,
there's
this is
a
what I
narrative.
wanted.
There's a narrative out there right now where people are saying, you know what, I was all in on Trump. And also, let's just be clear. Let's also apply these timelines. Donald Trump, very popular. Liberalism losing ground consistently in social media, in the media sphere, especially with young voters, right? So during this period in time, people going, yeah, MAGA, baby, it's fun.
So we're going to hit a contradiction here because what Crowder's saying about that, which is like, it's true that the Democrat Party's super unpopular. I would say that's a similar reason why Trump is unpopular is they both support Israeli genocide among not being pretty insensitive to people's cost of living crises. So people are pretty upset, but you can't say that the popularity is going to the right and then say what Steven Crowder is about to say here.
And also, he's almost being accurate, though. This is like
Yes.
perhaps the most honest I've ever heard him, because liberalism is unpopular. That's why we're leftists.
Yeah.
And also, I know you know what you were voting for, and we've criticized.
I learned that. I learned that this week. I called Hassan liberal. Like, I don't believe in either party. I'm not a part of it. I basically have no interest in politics, no belief in politicians, and no belief in our government, right? I am just trying to survive, and that shit is just messy. But if you still believe in it, they all promise lower prices on everything, right? Has that happened? It never does. That's why I don't believe in politicians. I would like cheaper gas right now. You know, I would like cheaper gas. I would like, what was it? Oh, right. So they sell them big bags of shredded cheese, right? They sell those big bags of shredded cheese. And it's the Tillamook. Tillamook's some good cheese. I mean, unless you get into buying like the fancy deli cheese and stuff. But Tillamook, amongst the grocery store cheeses, pretty good cheese, right? They're extra sharp cheddar. It's sharp. And I saw the big bag, and it said $15.99 on sale. And then I looked at the non-sale price, and it was like $23. And I was like, I remember when that bag cost $9.99. I remember when that bag cost $9.99. And now it's 23 motherfucking dollars. That's insane. And that is proof they don't care about us. They don't. And that's another reason that it's so upsetting to fans of the Rogansphere, to people that don't like the Rogansphere, for people looking to hold people accountable for things like grocery prices, right? That is why it is so upsetting. It's because things never change. And all we do is just to have to accept it going up and up and up and up, because it hurts. It's hard to survive. It's hard to save money for average people. And I don't know why. And I never understood politicians, because I don't understand why you wouldn't want others to be doing well and you doing well too. It's just so, you ever give a gift to somebody and you saw something in the store and you're like, boom, that's for my friend or my sister, right? Or you went the other route and your friend had a birthday or your mom or something, and you spent all this time planning and you found the perfect gift and you give it to them, you see how much joy. Why don't people have more of that? And why doesn't our government, our leaders, our business owners, our corporation boards, why don't they seek more of that joy? Because just look at the world. It's so miserable outside of nature. Like, look at society and you can say, oh, well, I'm happy. You find a little part of the world and you make your little world and you live in it. Yeah, but overall, there's a massive amount of hunger. There's a massive amount of people that don't have homes. There's a massive amount of war. I don't understand it. I do not understand it. And that's why I don't believe in politicians, folks.
As the podcasters that you're being critical of for not sharing your, like, fascistic ideology, for not doing their due diligence.
Yeah.
But that's not what you're saying.
Media sphere, especially with young voters, right? So during this period of time, people going, yeah, MAGA, baby, it's fun. Let's troll the libs. And now that he's in office and doing exactly what I voted for, what I actually championed, a lot of these people are going, we need to be adversarial. And no, I don't know what he's doing. This isn't cool with me. I don't understand it. You comment below. Are you surprised, or do you feel like you've been gypped by this?
So just to clear this up very quickly for everyone, the reason is actually the same reason ICE is still pretending that this is all about violent offenders, is because there is not a mass constituency to round up everyone who just happens to be undocumented, even if they're like been a member of a community for like 15 years and I don't know, work at a garage or something. There's not actually constituency. No one gives a fuck. We have real problems, Stephen. Canadian Crowder, who immigrated here, by the way. We're not actually that concerned about that sort of thing. That's what's going on. That to help you understand, that's what's happening.
I would like to see him on Rogan posing these questions.
Well, it would be interesting, but Rogan doesn't want.
I don't want
wants to
Rogan to
avoid
have him
that.
back, though. Yeah.
Yeah, Rogan. But they all
whatever.
Those guys want to avoid that because they don't want to. They don't want it to be abundantly clear that they are literally just narrative like wave riders. I mean, that's all they are, and so. Kamala Harris, look, I think the bro podcast sphere had biases against her. You know my reasoning on that, the misogyny and the racism towards it. I think that's 100% true. But part of why Trump won is because
I think it's crazy. Like, I'm not really focused on the politics. I'm focused about what they think about the Rogansphere, right? And that is such a good word, narrative wave riders. That describes Andrew Schultz, that describes Joe Rogan. And you know what's crazy is like you want to know how much the Rogansphere has changed and how much of an influence they have on like social issues, or you could say politics. The news is reporting them like politicians, right? Like their agendas. The news, just the fact that the news is reporting it like what the Rogansphere does in its influence and its decisions is news, tells you it has totally become part of the mainstream media. They are the mainstream media. Isn't that crazy? It's so crazy. And it's also sad because in journalism, I guess, you're supposed to not be biased, and it's like over time everything comes biased. Like there's no middle perspective. I try to see it from both sides because I know that is the best way to do things and to get the clearest picture. And it's not like I'm biased towards things. Of course, we're all humans. We have flaws. But I try to remind myself before I respond or do anything is to look at it through the middle. Because we got to do more of that. You know, this like division of politics is just a shit show. Start worrying about people, you know, making people's lives better. And a lot of people say that, you know, but it never really turns out to be true. It never does. I'm not staying on track here, folks. Sorry.
Because the opposition was so pathetic and weak as a party. Like, that is the story that he's not telling here, because if he were to show or highlight, and I think they're all avoiding, like the alternative movement that's brewing within the Democratic base, and that they are also horrified by the party. When you see the approval rating for the Democratic Party being at a 30-year low, it's only because 1 in 5 Democrats, there was a poll that came out a few days ago, approve of the leadership of the party. It's being driven down by their own members more than even the independents and Republicans in terms of the unpopularity of the party. So they are hiding that fact to act like, they're just abandoning Donald Trump. Like, no, his support was soft because he won in a way that was mostly about capitalizing on the weakness of the political situation for the Democrats.
This administration, again, none is perfect. It's been probably the most effective administration, maybe less than the first Trump administration, but certainly among the most effective administrations in my lifetime. But that has not stopped some people who claim to be amongst you from turning on them.
Okay.
Oh, here we go.
But I agree that Trump has been effective. Trump is the most transformational president of my lifetime. Transformational into the toilet bowl. Transformation into diarrhea. Like, I mean, that's what it's been. So, effectiveness. What does that mean? Yeah. Effective at, like, implementing fascism and anti-democracy? I would 100% agree with you, Stephen.
You know, everyone's going to have opinions on how effective it is. But I mean, that's a good choice of words, transformational. It has transformed a lot. And you can agree, you know, for the good of your party or not. But it still ain't good for people, just like every other election. And I also remembered, right, or I thought, this is the first time I've ever watched Steven Crowder. I had never watched him. I always heard about him. I just don't pay attention to that world. It seems like he would get really mad a lot and probably yell, like, just like a different version of an Alex Jones type character. That's how I imagine Steven Crowder to be.
But people don't like that.
Effective.
Who claim to be amongst you from turning on them.
The Trump administration, if they're running and they said, we're going to go to Home Depot and we're going to arrest all the people at Home Depot, we're going to go to construction sites and we're going to just like tackle people at constructions. I don't think anybody would have signed up for that.
Now that I look back at it, it's like, damn, like so many people just tie me to it. And now it's just like, like no matter what, they don't even get to know who I am. Because they don't like even want to. Oh, you did this shit with Trump. Ah.
You see what your boy's doing? You voted for this. I'm like, I voted for none of this. He's doing the exact opposite of everything I voted for.
Wrong.
One of the things is I felt like it was supposed to be America first. Like we're focusing on like, what are we doing to get things back into America, right?
Exactly.
To like increase like the purpose of being an American, to refill like our hearts with blood and like and
Come again. I'm going to skip a little bit ahead here. There's a little bit more of the compilation we can get crowded.
But can I just say for a second, you guys are adult men. I know. Like, go
Remember
to
large
therapy.
adult sons?
What?
Remember the large adult sons discourse?
or they're going to, honestly, maybe they're going to too much therapy, because it's like all this therapy speak when you're talking about your job as a professional communicator. Yeah. Like, I don't give a shit about your feelings. Like,
getting the therapy that Jonah Hill was getting.
You have influence, right? Exactly. Oh my God. Maybe men need to stop going to therapy.
Yeah, there's some narcissism training.
100%. I mean, that's a whole different, like there's therapy is really helpful for people, but for a certain kind of person.
Now, I want you to notice something. We going through these videos, documenting it, looking at it, analyzing it, right? And just notice this is another example that the people call the Rogansphere these key things that they do, like narcissists, egos, sexists, racists, right? And notice this is just another part of the world, another type of people seeing those exact traits coming out. of this group. It's confirming that the Rogansphere wants to do these things, but they don't want to be accountable, and they want to look like they're not doing these things while at the same time doing these things, right? But everybody's recognizing them for what they are. I just wanted you to notice this. This is yet another, culture or group of people or demographic, whatever you want to call it, that see the same things we're all seeing in the Rogansphere.
When their feelings that are completely harmful and irrational are constantly validated, it's usually men, sorry, it makes them into horrible people. And I feel like that's how you can explain so much of this.
The navel gazing.
It's not the navel gazing. It's not about your internal feelings, you guys. Like, you have an impact on other people, and that's what the problem can be with like the over therapizing of this stuff. Is that it makes you just look internally, right?
Where you can't talk to any other man unless I am present.
Yeah, right. You're making me feel really insecure, and if you object to that, you're invalidating me. That's a great example.
Stop gaslighting me.
Disillusioned pretty quickly.
Just really quickly, too, that note on Israel. I don't think we've ever seen a president be more, quote unquote, disrespectful to Netanyahu than Donald Trump.
Yes.
Ever. He's insulted him. He's literally.
So that's actually a funny point that we can talk like adults about this sort of history. It's true. Trump has said some funny things to Israel. Witkoff saying, I don't give a fuck about the Sabbath. We're going to get the ceasefire done early in the Trump administration. Good. I like to see that. I like to see that more than Steven Crowder, whose first YouTube video was about being on Team Israel. Look it up. Hitting Obama for not supporting Israel enough. Obama doing the Iran deal is the #1 act over the head of the Israel
100%.
lobby that has ever been put in place by a president in my lifetime that I'm aware of. So, maybe if Obama took some shots like Trump does, Trump literally says like, "You like deals? You know what I'm talking about?" Like,
Trump insults everybody, but nothing materially changes. He's just doing the Trump version of Biden being very pissed at Bibi.
Exactly, it's the exact same thing.
He said on Friday, "Stop bombing Gaza." They've said fuck you, because
the before and after enduring,
and the right wingers that want to pretend he's this strong man don't pay attention to that, because they don't actually care about Palestinians for the most part. Like, you'll have some of these pockets, but like Trump doesn't care about the Palestinians. That's what the argument always was. The advocacy for Palestine, those folks are not in his constituency. He doesn't care. He doesn't have the character nor the stamina to see something like this through, to actually stand up to Israel, because it requires actual belief and political bravery.
And the reason that there's this little glimpse right now with this sort of hostage negotiations right now is because Israel is insane. And they lobbed missiles at Qatar, who gave Trump a giant luxury plane.
Yeah.
Insulted him for being petulant, for being kind of bitchy, for being negative. You may not like that Donald Trump supports Israel in the conflict, as it relates to Israel, Hamas. You may not like that, but as far as actually dealing with Netanyahu and saying, hey, we have to get a peace deal done, Barack Obama, Joe Biden were more respectful of the Israeli government than Donald Trump. He's spoken with them just as frankly as he does with Democrats here.
Yeah. Again, the Iran deal, there's no comparison.
So this also, comes on the heels of yesterday. A Rolling Stone article highlighted this. They call it a phenomenon where they titled it "Manosphere Influencers Who Boosted Trump Are Now Cooling on Him."
Oh boy.
Okay, all right. Sunday, NBC News.
I read that. I was gonna do a video on it, but I just didn't. The word is out, man. It's a pretty well-known fact that they're trying to toot it and boot it. I don't know if you ever heard this. Toot it and boot it. I think it was the early 2000s. Man, that song was so good. Anyways, they were just trying to dip out. And yeah, it's just everywhere now. It's no longer a secret who these people are. I think for some people, because they're not just like, the Democrats, right, that lost, they're not just making those people mad. Now that you're looking, and you heard in this episode that the guy called them spineless. So the other side is also thinking they're cowards, they're spineless because they didn't stand up for what they preached for so long. But that is what power is. Power doesn't care about our emotions, or our morals, our principles, our values, standing up for anything. It just cares about survival and constantly getting bigger. And so it has no feelings. It just goes to where it can survive best. And the backlash to the Rogansphere is getting bigger and bigger. And so they're sacrificing those people, the party, the conservative party that they promoted, in order to go towards a more democratic side, I guess. I don't know. Or just to back away from them. And I mean, Joe Rogan's lost a lot. I mean, those were the people that are still listening to him. So like at this rate, honestly, being a shapeshifter, like Rogan has been, it could cost him his whole audience at some point. Maybe not tomorrow or next month or this year, but we already saw 6 million listeners leave his show. It could be another 3 million in the next 12 months. And then he could be down to just 1 million listeners. And then he'll turn out like David Lee Roth. Have you ever listened to Joe Rogan, David Lee Roth? Bro, some of the most horseshit I've ever heard in my life. Dude, that guy is a grifter.
Podman out. Trump's support among influential podcasters is waning.
Bro, deadass.
and yeah, you just saw that even, a lot of people everyone has a podcast now. That's the issue. Even Darth Vader turned on Trump, has seen in his podcast, Call Me Your Father, yesterday.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
We're going to duck out before the bit.
Oh my God.
Oh, Lord.
Oh my gosh. Oh, you did not warn me for that, Matt. Yeah. The timely Darth Vader bit.
Call me father. Yeah, so that's...
Anyways, you can watch the rest. I don't want to... there's a lot of politic talk on it. I don't want to divide anybody. But I just wanted to show you that now podcasts, news outlets are all taking sides on this Rogansphere thing, and they're reporting it like it is news. And now you have conservative and democratic, entertainment figures, like Rush Limbaugh, those type of political pundits, right? And they're getting involved in the Rogansphere. And what the Rogansphere sold out to and tried to use to boost their personal profits, their business, whatever, is now the thing that is eating it alive. Isn't that crazy? And that is exactly why you do not sell yourself to these corporations, to the government, to powerful people, because they are fucking black widows, and they will use you and fucking kill you. It'll eat you alive. It's crazy. It's crazy. It'll kill your emotions. It'll kill your sanity. Kill your self-worth. It'll create anxiety, depression. I think sometimes, Theo Vaughn is struggling and he has all this anxiety and like dealing with depression. That's what that shit causes. If you sell your soul, you sell you. You sell you. And you can't get it back. Because once those people got you, they don't let go. They eat you alive until they're done with you. That's what's happening in the Rogansphere. they're starting to get eaten alive by the very thing that thought that would help them. Let me know what you think in the comments. Peace.